So I recently made a video of Guldo's power level and calculated his speed during time was frozen, and also during when he was running, while time wasn't frozen, and measured the distance by the time of how far it would appeared of how much distance he got, which is pretty good. But now let's compare Guldo if he had his eyes set on Earth, hypothetically speaking, but actually let's compare how Guldo stacks up in speed compared to the animals on planet Earth.
So like I said recently, when Guldo first froze time and ran for about 7 seconds, or exactly 7 seconds while time was frozen, the distance he travels in those 7 seconds looks like he ran a good 2.9 miles distance in those 7 seconds, which would put Guldo's speed at 1,491.428571428 miles per hour speed. Now is there an animal on the planet that can reach that speed? But now I'm pretty sure everyone knows about the fastest animal, or should I say insect, the tiger beetle, the fastest running insect. It's the fastest animal, or should I say insect in the planet for its body size. It's pretty fast. So if a tiger beetle grew to the size of Guldo, the tiger beetle would be able to run a bit over 300 miles per hour in speed, but more like at 309 miles per hour, as close as a drag racer, and some tiger beetles have been recorded to go up to 600 miles per hour. But that's still less than half of Guldo's speed. But there's another insect that's actually faster and has taken that title away from the tiger beetle. And that's because I was using a bit of outdated science. You see, the tiger beetle was the fastest insect in the planet for its body size 20 to 30 years ago. Now there's a faster little fella, and that is this mite in this picture. Even for being tiny, you can see how fast this little insect can run around very quickly for a tiny little thing. But if it were as big as Guldo, it would be running at a speed of 1,300 miles per hour, and that's just about 191.4 miles less than Guldo's speed when he ran during the time was frozen. Can't imagine an insect or any living organisms that would be capable of running that fast. I guess that's why it beat the tiger beetle. But comparing Guldo's running speed to the mite, well, he pretty much has a good advantage, because Guldo can use his time freeze. Guldo ran in those 7 seconds, he ran in a curved line instead of a straight line, which he could actually be faster and possibly lost some speed while turning. When he ran from Gohan and Krillin, I would assume it to be a good extra 0.4 miles. He would have gained if he ran straight. So I guess even if we gave the fastest insect on the planet, the small mite, a hypothetical 2 times speed increase, it'll still lose to Guldo in a 5-mile distance race. You see, it's because of Guldo's time freezing ability, which would give Guldo a 3-mile head start, and he would basically only have to cover a 2-mile distance in that race, while the mite has to run the full 5-mile distance race with no cheat codes, unlike Guldo. Speed increase, it'll still lose to Guldo in a 5-mile distance race. You see, it's because of Guldo's time freezing ability, which would give Guldo a 3-mile head start, and he would basically only have to cover a 2-mile distance in that race, while the mite has to run the full 5-mile distance race with no cheat codes, unlike Guldo. But Guldo would only win by 1 second. As you see here, the mite running at a speed of a hypothetical 2,600 miles per hour would run 5 miles in 7 seconds, while Guldo, because of his head start, due to his abilities, would be able to run a distance of 2 miles in 6 seconds, winning only by 1 second. Oh, really quick, I used Guldo's second speed because he runs a little slower after using the time freeze from 1,491 miles per hour. When freezing time to right after unfreezing time, his speed goes to as low as 1,241 miles per hour, and he still beat the mite. And here's some of my equations and formulas I used to get a good estimate of their speed. I'm using a simple method. 1 second makes 1 mile, so that equates to 3,600 miles in an hour. With that, you can use it to solve for everything on their speed-wise. Like 1,300 miles per hour is 2.769,230,7692 times slower than 3,600 miles per hour. And in percentage form of 1,300 is only at 36.111111% of the speed of 3,600 miles per hour. You could also get your percentage by multiplying it by decimal, because at a little more than 1/3, The speed of 3,600. You can start with multiplying it by 0.3, followed by a few numbers until you reach 1,300 for the percentage in decimal form. But one thing about the mite is if it raced Guldo for 4 minutes and maintains a 1,300 miles per hour speed during those 4 minutes, it'll end up beating Guldo even after getting a small advantage of the time freeze. Because after he uses the time freeze, Guldo started to run slower. His speed dropped by 200 miles per hour after freezing time. But anyways, we've been only counting the speed in which Guldo runs, as time was frozen. So Guldo's speed after unfreezing time, he covered at a distance of 8.7 to maybe 10.7 miles in about a little over 31 seconds, giving him at a speed of 1,241.2 to 1,262.6 miles per hour. Yeah, Guldo would beat the mite in a 5-mile race, even if the mite gets hypothetically 2 times faster, but would beat Guldo if they ran for a 4-minute race, and would even beat Guldo if the mite used its regular speed of 1,300 in a 4-minute race. And here's a different example of a map of Namek to show how far Guldo got from Krillin and Kid Gohan, that they had to fly pretty fast after they found Guldo, saying how Guldo got so far away from them, and it's an estimated average distance. So I guess that mite would also surprise Kid Gohan and Krillin. So this is a hypothetical scene to show how fast this mite is, but just imagine if a giant mite the size of Guldo, and it caught Krillin and Kid Gohan's curiosity, and they didn't notice the mite takes off running in the first 7 seconds and just stare at it for a few seconds, that it lets the mite cover a good distance away from them. Then they'll have to fly pretty fast to catch up to it because of their curiosity. Now back to the main topic, and that is, because after time was unfrozen, Guldo kept running, and you can see how Kid Gohan and Krillin have to make a little bit of effort to fly to Guldo's 11.6 miles distance away, but are also shocked he got that far in about 30 seconds, without them realizing it. If they got to see how fast a mite the size of Guldo can get in under the same amount time. But that's really if they dozed off the first 7 seconds. So yeah, if they dozed off, then the mite will get pretty far, far away from them. But really quick, here's a total average of how fast the mite is. It varies a lot, and it's close to Guldo's speed, so I guess Zarbon was right when he called Guldo an insect.
You're nothing but an insect compared to me.
Well, what did you say?
Personally, I think he looks more like a frog. But anyways, on Guldo's speed and how he started getting less of a distance every time he ran. Seconds. Guldo's speed starts going down from 1,491.42857,142, 85 miles per hour to 1,262.6 miles per hour, to his slowest at 1,241.2 miles per hour, and that's all under 21.4 seconds. But then the mite will cover the same distance of 13.6 miles in about 37 seconds, but in a 5-second race, Guldo would win. Thanks for watching, and I know Guldo's last overall estimated distance travel speed changes a bit. That is because it varies, especially with how Guldo's speed slowed down right after the time freeze. Like, how did his running speed slow down so much? Is it because he wasn't breathing enough oxygen? But the time freeze also drained Guldo out of all his ki. I guess Guldo wouldn't be able to defeat the mite with Ki Blast to stop it if he uses his time freeze.